Hey, this is Jeff Schwartz, and this presentation is going to show how to make a button in Photoshop CS3. First thing we want to do is go under File, New, and we're going to name this button Template. We're going to set the size at 100 pixels wide and 50 pixels high. We'll leave the rest at the defaults of 72 resolution and RGB color mode. So we're going to hit OK. Photoshop is going to create a blank button with a white background for that particular size. And you'll see it here. Okay, next thing we want to do, we want to add some color to this. So I'm going to click over here on the paint bucket tool, over here on the left hand side, and I'm going to go over to the swatches area. And I'm going to go ahead and make this button red. So I use a little eyedropper, pick the color I want, and when I hover back over here, you'll see the paint bucket is demonstrated over the button, and I'll click there and we have our red button now. So now I'm going to actually do some modifications to this. So I'm going to go under Select, All, and you'll see how that there's a dotted line around the area of the menu button. Well, now I want to add some other features to this, so I'm going to go under Select, Modify, Order. And for this one I'm going to leave it at the default right here, which is 10 pixels. So hit OK, and you'll notice how that dotted line actually went 10 pixels in around the inside. And that's going to come important later when we start adding some of the 3D effects to this. So now I'm going to hit Select and Save Selection. And we're going to call this, we'll just call this Template. And we've now saved that channel. So now I'm going to go under Select, All to get the entire button. And now I'm going to move over to the filter area, where Filter, Render, Lighting Effects. And here you'll see that there's an actual tool here that we can modify and manipulate, changing how the light is actually hitting this particular button for a nice effect. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this, let's put it right here. And you'll see there's different light types. We have the spotlight, which is what's on right now, Omni, which is just shining right down on top of the item, and then there's even directional, which you can change that. But I'm going to leave that at the spotlight feature. Next we're going to go down to the texture channel. Now texture is where we're actually going to put our button in, which we set up a while back, and now you can see how it added that 3D effect there. So now that I've done that, I'm going to go hit OK. Now that I have the button, I want to add some text onto it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click the text tool, and I'm going to highlight, come over here on top of the button, and you'll notice now over the right hand side that it added a new layer for the text tool. So I'm going to go ahead and type in what I want. I'm going to make this an enter button, and you'll notice that the text is the same color. So what I'm going to do here is change the text to be white. And I can even modify it to actually make it slightly larger if I wanted. And if I change my tool I'm using up to this pointer here, I can actually move that over to where I want it. Next thing we're going to do is add some blending properties. So I right click on this new layer, the text layer, and go under blending options. And here we're going to add a drop shadow. You'll see if you look at the word enter as I'm toggling this back and forth, you can see how it's actually adding a shadow under the word enter. And it adds a nice effect to that. So I click drop shadow and I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm actually going to save the file. Let's File, Save. And I want to save this in the Photoshop PSD format. So I'm going to leave this as button template. And we'll have this little pop-up formatting option. Just going to click OK to that. Okay, now I'm going to go under Image, Mode, Index Color, and it's going to ask me if I want to flatten the layers. And flattening the layers will actually help compress all the the layers in the image to one level, which could be useful in the future. Now I actually want to save the image as I'm going to save it as a GIF file. So if I go under File, Save for Web, and there's an option here at the pointer I'm actually using right here where it's can change it for a GIF file to a JPEG to PNG and so forth, but I'm going to leave it as a GIF file. And I'm going to hit Save, and here I'm going to name it Enter Button. And I had an older version of this sitting here, so I'm just going to overwrite it. And it's going to prompt me, do I want to overwrite this file? I'm going to hit Replace. And that's pretty much all there is to it. I saved the file on my desktop, or on a folder on my desktop. If you wanted to, you could actually zip the file up or save it on a zip drive, or even email it to you or a coworker. And there's other things that can be done as far as adding additional layers, using templates and so forth, which we can cover in the next lesson.